Welcome to Beers with the Beards, celebrating and educating all things sports, one win at a time.
Hey, welcome to Beers with the Beards, episode 4. We got the Beard, we got the Professor. No Stash. I think he's hanging his head in shame after his abysmal college basketball picks this weekend. Doesn't want to show his face. So just the two of us tonight for this Super Bowl special. As always, Beard, you got a beer with you tonight?
I do, and like I said, I'm gonna stick. I just love the art of this company. So that Stranger Roots company. Stash is actually on the way to my house to get a betting 101 lesson. He's gonna spend 2 weeks with me and boot camp to get him.
He's in a betting boot camp.
Track.
Good, yeah, he needs it.
Betting boot camp, dude. Not letting him out of the room until he figures it out. Can't go 1-5 like that.
He did a tremendous write-up too. I mean, he put a lot of effort into that, and it just stunk to high heaven.
I know. It goes from the guy that's like, what was his thing? No research, fly high, or whatever his slogan was, and to like, I'm going to write this extensive thing and then totally bomb it.
It was great.
So Stranger Roots, we're going with a wheat ale.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's called Screamin' Tangerine. And I was talking to the guy at the local beer store, and what he was saying is that they do traditional wheat ale and then they ferment it with tangerine. So that's where you get the flavor of tangerine from. So
interesting.
Let's get that. Oof.
Good pop.
Let's see what we got here. Look at that orange.
I was going to say that looks tangerine-y.
Yeah. I'm excited. Are you still doing the 75 thing?
I am. So I'm still on my Athletic Brewing Company Run Wild Non-A IPA. Is it good?
Yeah, this is so Spence wants us to do rankings for these. I'm gonna have to go. One more. It's good. It's not as good as their Kool-Aid. I'm still chasing the high of that Kool-Aid one.
Yeah, that one looked good.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go with 6.5
out of 10.
Drinkable. Yeah, drinkable, but I wouldn't buy it again.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise, I haven't drank all of my non-A IPAs in the last week, so doing that again. Still passable. I do have, in honor of the Super Bowl, my Seattle Seahawks cup, the Homer pick there. So. I mean, the taste is good. It's just, I don't even know if I want to rank it. Like, maybe I'll give it a 0.5 out of 10 because that's the alcohol content. I don't know. It gets the job done. So soon we'll be back on it. Good deal. So I stuck an intro question in last minute. I thought this would be a fun way to kind of get into the episode. I was curious, Beard, as to what your favorite Super Bowl memory is. I know it's a tough one. I mean, you're 34, 35?
35.
So probably 30 Super Bowls that you can remember. So you got to go through all of them.
Yeah. I, what's crazy to me is, so I've been going to Vegas for the Super Bowl every year since I turned 21 with my dad. That's a thing that we've done. We usually go to Vegas, like Super Bowl parties. This is going to be the first year that I'm not going to be able to make it for the Super
Bowl. Yeah.
But I've seen some incredible ones. I think the one that comes to mind is both of the Giants Super Bowls over. I mean, everyone will talk about the David, I forget what that guy's name was.
The helmet catch?
Yeah, the helmet catch.
Yeah.
But I think the game before with Plaxico Burress catching that like fade into the end zone, those two are huge. And then I think the heartbreak moment for me, which started with the like pure elation, was when the Seahawks threw the pick at the red zone, solely because, Marshawn looked like he was going to break that for a touchdown. And then everyone in the sports book, I'm talking thousands of people are sitting there. The energy is wild. Everyone thinks they're giving it to Marshawn. This drunk ass Seahawk guy behind me is like, feed the beast.
Yeah.
Feed the beast. And then the pick happens. And I've never heard the decimals go from like shattering the windows to absolutely nothing, like so stunned. It was wild. The guy sitting next to me on the left hand side, who's been there, like I sat with him like 3 or 4 last years in a row. I think he lost like 10 or 20 grand on that game,
Oof.
purely on that play.
On that play alone. It's
Yeah.
funny that you bring that up because as I was thinking about this question, that game came up because as a Seahawks fan, the ending was brutal, but I won so much money on that game as a result of football squares. And so I had this dichotomy of, watching your team lose, but then pocketing like almost $1,000 from football squares. And so it was like, I don't know how to feel about this. And it's also interesting because the Giants, the football catch was one that I had really thought, but as a homer pick, I got to go with the Seahawks, just beating the snot off of the Broncos.
Oh yeah, but that wasn't a good game though.
It was a terrible game, but man, it was such a great memory. And that team with the Legion of Boom, Russell Wilson, they'd gotten close the year before when they lost to the Falcons. And so, making it to the Super Bowl again and then to win in such a dominating fashion. I know it was not enjoyable for anybody who wasn't a Seahawks fan to watch. But as a Seahawks fan, that's one of my all-time favorite memories for the Super Bowl.
That was the game that I made the most money ever in Vegas because the Seahawks were underdogs going into that game. And all of my research pointed to Seahawks winning. And I took the Seahawks on an alt line spread for -6.5. They were like plus 370. And
that's beautiful.
Paired that on a parlay. And it was just, I was in heaven. That game. So from that game, from the one where Marshawn didn't get the ball at the 2-yard line. Do you remember Jermaine Kearse's catch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude,
Jermaine,
he was so fun to watch. Like
he was
so fun. And he was if I'm not mistaken, like he was a local Seattle boy. Like he played at UW and he was a hometown hero. So I will still defend Pete Carroll to this day. Only because everyone in the world thought he was going to run it. And then I think it was Malcolm Butler made just an amazing jump on the ball.
Yeah.
They had only run that play one other time throughout the whole season. And Belichick, being the spawn of Satan that he is, like knew that that's what they were going to do. And he told him to jump it. And it was a great football play, but I still think Marshawn could have gotten the 2 yards.
Oh, dude, at that point, that was when Marshawn was like straight Super Saiyan. Like Marshawn could not be stopped by anyone. That like 3-year run with them, and they had I think they still had a timeout too, which makes it even worse. Like they could have ran it twice with him on the 2-yard line.
They did have a timeout. Yeah.
And you were throwing it to like your 4th-string guy. I forget what that guy's name was, but like
nobody remembers.
The slot 4th-string guy. It was just so bad, dude.
It's painful, and it's one of those things that always gets brought up when you're having an online debate. If you're a Seahawks fan, they just bring up the throw at the 2-yard line, and it hurts every time. But fortunate in that I've been able to watch my team in the Super Bowl 3 times in the modern era, which is pretty neat. So
they told me, because you're a conspiracy guy, I remember during that time a big reason why they said Marshawn didn't get the ball was because of all the I'm just here so I don't get fined stuff.
Yeah.
The NFL didn't want him to be the MVP of the game.
So
they were trying to make it Russell Wilson.
They changed the playbook then. Have you seen all the memes this week about the playbook? And
yeah.
Oh my goodness. I talk about
Arian Foster.
Arian Foster on a Barstool podcast called Macro Dosing, where I'm fairly certain they drop acid and then talk. So
what a great concept, dude.
I mean, it's a great concept, right? But I think that's kind of the theme of the show. And the way he said it so matter-of-factly was interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. But the memes that have come from it have just been the Aaron Hernandez one was the best one that I saw.
What was it?
It was like Aaron Hernandez getting his playbook, and when did he go to jail? Like 2014, and he's just like shaking his head. It was great. It was really great,
dude. Yeah, so that was the conspiracy theory at the time because no one could see logically why you wouldn't give it to Marshawn there.
Yeah.
And they were saying that, Goodell essentially was telling Carroll Marshawn can't be the MVP because of all of that stuff. So if he ran that in, he'd be MVP of the game.
He would have. I believe it. You know me, I'm firm on conspiracy theories.
Yep.
I hate Roger Goodell with a passion. The dude is such a skis.
It's wild. This is totally random to that too, but they just announced that they're increasing the salary cap in the NFL, which is good. I do think NFL players do not get paid enough for essentially taking years off their life every single year that they play. But I've been arguing with a lot of people. All of these contracts, all these salary caps are based off of advertising dollar, and advertising effectiveness has gone down year over year, like the last 10 years. So at some point,
interesting.
Yeah, at some point these channels are going to have to say, hey, this isn't worth what we're advertising, because you have on-demand stuff, right? Where people are streaming it now, or they're fast forwarding it, and I just don't know.
I think we looked at that thing though, like Sunday Night Football is still the most watched program on any network across the board. There's still got to be some. I'd be interested to see the correlation between the gambling ads that they've been running. And we've seen the numbers for gambling revenue. So it's definitely going up. I wonder, getting that into the micro with relation to the NFL and DraftKings or whatever.
Yeah.
If that's having an effect, if it's a profitable partnership for them.
Maybe gambling, because I was like, I can't remember the last time I actually watched an ad and was like, yeah, I need to buy that. And I feel like ads are always like insurance ads or
Bro, you cannot
ads.
tell me that you have not had a craving for the Whopper this entire football season.
Oh, the good old Whopper commercials. I would have a craving for a Whopper if it was an absolute ass, dude. The Whopper is about the worst fast food experience you can have.
100%. But I would be lying if I told you, after hearing that song a million times and singing it in my head, that I haven't thought about going and getting a Whopper at BK.
Actually, you know what? The Taco Bell ones are the ones that get me, because I do love Taco Bell. So maybe fast food is what's funding everyone's salaries.
That's what's successful.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Fast food and gambling sites are funding everyone's salaries in the NFL.
It sounds like my life. I have a Taco Bell a block and a half from me. It's walking distance.
Oh, dude,
so
dangerous.
I've stumbled over there on many a Saturday and Sunday afternoon when I've gotten a little sloshed and feeling some T-bells. So,
oh, dude, absolutely dangerous. I could not. I actually have to purchase my living situation based off of distance from a Taco Bell, so I don't go every day.
So you don't have that option?
Yeah, exclude anything with a Taco Bell within 10 miles, or else I can't rent or buy there.
Is that a feature on Zillow? Is that you just exclude Taco Bells?
It's not, but if Zillow added that, they would sell way more houses, dude. Probably more for the include though. People include walking distance. You have optimal if you owned your house, renting that optimal feature request right there.
That's valid. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna include that when I rent this place out. So
yeah,
goodness. All right, well, let's get to this week's matchup: Super Bowl 57, Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs. I was, and maybe it's just because I don't really watch ESPN anymore, but it hasn't felt like the buildup to this Super Bowl has been as much as in the past. And maybe that's my own bias. Maybe it's because I'm not as tied in with some of the sports networks. But even scouring the internet today, I didn't find a lot of writing about the matchup. There was a few things, but what do you think? Are people just not as excited about it? Am I far away from? I don't know. There's a lot of Kansas City fans here where I'm at, but I just don't. I don't see people excited for this as in the past.
So I honestly think this is actually a result of them pulling the Pro Bowl forward and then trying to make the Pro Bowl relevant.
Valid.
Because they used to have this weird gap, right, where it would do that and the Pro Bowl would come after the Super Bowl. So the only thing they could talk about professionally was the NFL, and you had the media days and you had all the different stuff. So I think that's part of it. The other part is I think the average consumer's watch time is down, not of the NFL, but watch time of TV is down pretty significantly. And I'm guessing that someone's going to respond on our pod and say, "You're an idiot, the beard."
Please do. Please do. If you're out there, just.
but I'm guessing that's what's happening. And then the other piece is like there's other big storylines out right now. Like the China balloon thing is like
Yeah.
taking over the media, which is a wild thing in and of itself. But also LeBron chasing the all-time
Which
scoring.
he should get tonight, right? Is that he needs 36?
That's, I mean, it has nothing to do with the NFL, but yeah, I think he needs like mid 30s. But like to be in the league almost 20 years, or I think he is his 20th season.
20th season.
Still putting up, doing 35 minutes and still putting up 30 points a game is like unheard of.
Oh, it's unreal. We'll never see anything like it again. And I used to kind of be a LeBron hater. And I think in the same way that I kind of came around on Tom Brady and realizing that I'm watching something that I will probably never see again in my sporting's lifetime, I've really come to appreciate him. And I think this gets brought up a lot, but like that dude's been in the spotlight since he was 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He's never had a single scandal. He's really kind of a goober. Like if you watch his social media, like he's just a goofy dude. Like he's a legitimate like icon and a good role model for kids. And so like I've gone full circle on like hating LeBron, especially after the decision, to like I respect the hell out of that dude.
It's funny you say no scandal because LeBron just has the greatest PR team because he's been caught many a times DMing Instagram models, and it's on the
Really?
on the web for, yeah, it's on the web for like a week or 2 weeks and then kind of disappears.
I've not seen that.
Yeah, so he does have a really good PR team, but you're right. Like he doesn't have any major scandals outside of becoming the first billionaire off the backs of, you know, Chinese sweatshops. But
Well, he's not the only one in America or even in the NBA. So that's a valid point.
and pro China when there was that whole debate for the NBA going to China too. So
Yeah.
I think that's a whole nother can of worms, but I think he's got a great PR team and he has a good role model. And what he proved is that money makes money. He's used money to extend his career, which is incredible to be in that level of shape. I think he invests like over $1 million in his body every year.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I had that kind of money to invest in my body. It's obvious that my body investment account is like 2 nickels in a change drawer somewhere, but completely tangential there.
Yeah, you're not getting home cooked meals. You're getting dollar menu late night cravings from Taco Bell instead. That's really extending the career.
That loaded potato burrito is coming in clutch. You can only get it on the app, baby. Back to the Super Bowl. I read a really interesting stat today. The Eagles are 16-1 when Jalen Hurts starts. That's when he starts. If he's
only
not
lost one game and this year.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, damn, that's pretty impressive.
That's pretty impressive. I know we talked about Hurts and the MJ effect. He didn't look. He managed the championship game, the NFC Championship game. It was very much managed. I don't think he was, the reason they won or lost. I think he put a good game together. But that's a pretty good stat. I didn't find the same for Patrick Mahomes, but it's probably pretty close, I would guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think they lost like 2 or 3 games this year. I think Jalen Hurts like that whole offense is built around him. So that doesn't surprise me with him specifically. What I find most interesting in watching Jalen Hurts, I think Stash talked about it 2 or 3 episodes ago, where he squats like 600 pounds.
Yeah.
And watching him line up to get a snap, I don't know if you watched it, but that dude is pretty much parallel to the ground. His ass is parallel to the ground. And I think he actually has to squat 600 pounds in order to be able to do that for 40 plays a game.
I mean, that's some impressive. I'm not looking that closely at Jalen Hurts' ass, I guess, but it's a unique observation.
Dude, everyone else who stands in the shotgun stands upright. Jalen Hurts literally looks like he's power cleaning before the ball comes to him every time. I don't know. Yeah, it's all I could focus on in the San Francisco game.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Now you literally won't be able to not notice that now.
It's gonna either ruin or greatly enhance my Super Bowl watching experience. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be good. So, outside of that, we got the Kelsey Bowl. They're not going to compete against each other. They've been trying to make that a story of who's mom and dad going to root for. What would you do if you had two kids playing each other in the Super Bowl? What team do you root for?
Oh God, whichever kid is winning. I guess that's the only way to do it, right?
You play both sides, so you come out on top. I like that.
Yeah, I feel like I've got it's either like one of those stupid jerseys that are cut down the middle and it's like one half, or I'm wearing a green screen and then I'm having someone Photoshop in the jersey of the winning team.
Whichever winning team, I like that.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to go with the half and half jerseys. That's like the typical sports mom move.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm more of a Jason Kelsey fan than a Travis Kelsey fan, if I'm being honest.
I was literally just about to say Jason Kelsey has somehow made being an offensive lineman entertaining, and I don't
it's
know
amazing.
How he's done that. Like,
yeah.
I actually look for, like, Miles Sanders is running, and I'm not watching Miles Sanders. I'm looking for Jason Kelly pancaking someone, and then I am cheering that piece on more than anything.
It takes a truly talented lineman to make you want to like watch the line, but there's something about it when they're that good. It's just so fun to watch.
Do you know that Jason Kelly's actually the only reason that Travis Kelce, or Jason Kelce is the only reason that Travis Kelce got into college and was drafted? Did you know that?
How did he pull that off? Just like,
so Travis Kelce's always been super talented. I was watching the story on it. He's always been super talented, but he's always like partied and had some issues.
Yeah, you can see that.
So, yeah. So he was gonna. I think he was gonna get kicked off the team, and his brother vouched for him that he would turn it around, and so he turned it around. So they must have went to the same college together. And then when Kelce got the call from Andy Reid to get drafted, Andy Reid said, "You're not going to mess this up," and he said, "Pass it to your brother," because his brother was there, and he made his brother confirm that he's not going to mess it up. So Travis Kelce somehow has been managed by his brother throughout his whole career, and he's going to be the greatest tight end of all time at this point. Pretty close.
That's a good question and a good. I mean, probably the dude's more like a wide right one than a freaking tight end at this point for the stats that he puts up.
Let's look at this dude's stats because I think he's wow, he's up there. Okay,
so who else is in the conversation though? You got Gronk, Tony Gonzalez.
So Tony Gonzalez, from just a yardage standpoint alone, is so far ahead of everyone. Tony Gonzalez had 15,000 yards as a tight end. The next closest, you'll never get this person. Guess this one. Who's the next closest?
Who was the tight end for the Colts that Manning would throw to? It's not him. Who is it?
I know who you're talking about, but it's not him. It's Jason Witten.
He's second behind Gonzalez
in receiving yards. So 1,300 receiving yards. Then Antonio Gates, the big man, box out, and then Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce's already 1,000 yards over Gronk.
Wow.
Yeah, and then Travis Kelce. So he's 5,000 yards behind Tony Gonzalez, and he's 400 catches behind him. But if you look at touchdowns, holy crap. Dude, Tony Gonzalez had 111 touchdowns, and Kelce only had 69. So maybe you're right. Maybe Tony Gonzalez is the GOAT.
I think, what's interesting is Witten being second. I wonder how much his just absolutely miserable performance as an announcer has tarnished his legacy, because I couldn't even remember him. And then the first thing that I think of when you bring up Jason Witten was he was really, really bad on TV.
He was. And what's even crazier is Greg Olsen is really, really good on TV.
I know. And they're saying that Brady's going to replace him like as soon as it happens. And people are not happy about that because Greg Olsen is really good.
It should be Brady and Greg Olson. If you're going to do that, replace the guy who's with Greg Olson.
Yeah, but you get 2 color guys, and then I don't know. I was listening to it. Number one, $375 million for 10 years to go be
That's
an announcer.
insane.
Dude, get out of here.
That is absolutely insane.
It boggles the mind. But he's never called a game. So like to give him that contract without even hearing him, like Witten was a huge flop, right? Romo is trending down if you read the internet. People are starting to dislike Romo. So you're going to lock Tom Brady in, who's already a controversial guy for a lot of fan bases, for 10 years, guaranteed. That's insane.
I mean, he's got to thank Romo for that specifically, right? Like,
yeah.
Romo opened the door for him and Manning to be like, oh, these quarterbacks could be great announcers. I mean, you can go back to like the Bradshaws, right? Like Bradshaw being on. There's a few, but modern quarterbacks being big time announcers. Okay, one more thing. So Tony Gonzalez had 111 receiving touchdowns. Antonio Gates had more receiving touchdowns than him, 116.
Short yardage though, right? Like Gates was like the Chargers are on the 5. You're feeding it to Gates.
I mean, Gates is third all time in receiving yards for tight ends.
Dang, that's impressive. I mean, I think Kelsey's in the conversation,
games, dude.
Yeah.
He's in the conversation. He's not the GOAT though. Looking at these numbers, unless he'd have to play another like 6 or 7 years, and what is he, 32?
I think so. I mean, he could. He's had a fairly healthy career as far as I can remember. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see kind of how the Eagles game plan for him. Because you really do. You have to treat him like a number 1 receiver, basically, which is crazy. And then, you've got Valdez-Scantling, who came out of freaking nowhere for the Chiefs that was eating up yards in the last game. Like, I don't know how you game plan against this Chiefs team. And Andy Reid, I think I mean, where do you think he falls under all-time coaches and active coaches right now?
Active coaches, he's top 3.
So you got Belichick, Reid.
Yeah, Belichick, Reid. I mean, you have to argue that Kyle Shanahan is up there with what he did with. I mean, he can't get to the championship, but I mean, he's gotten to the championship. He just can't. He can't
seal the deal.
People hate on Tomlin, but what Tomlin's been able to do, he's never had a losing season his whole career.
That's impressive. Tomlin's good. Pete Carroll's got to be in the conversation, man. Just from coaching in general, what he did at college to the NFL.
Pete Carroll's definitely in there. I think the Bengals coach, he hasn't proven anything, but the fact that he's he's like a young dude and he's taken them to 2 AFC's championships in 3 years.
Yeah.
It was McVay. McVay sold his soul to the devil, but McVay is a great coach too.
Well, it was worth it, right? You get the Super Bowl.
Actually, the guy we're not talking about who's recently reactivated is Sean Payton.
That is true. I forgot that he's now an active coach for the Broncos.
They won.
How many Super Bowls did the Saints win, though?
They won 1, but
just the 07, right?
Dominant during that period of time. Like, you almost have to give that 1 with an asterisk because you were going against the Brady Belichick era. Like, they were almost unbeatable.
I know, and that's what I was gonna say. Is like the last 2 decades have been absolutely skewed by the Patriots, but like, so it's hard to say he only won 1 when the standard was 6 by Belichick. So I mean, obviously Belichick's the GOAT in my book. I think Andy Reid's up there, man. He took Philadelphia to a Super Bowl, right? They didn't win, but he took a lot of championship games. He took that Chiefs team and turned it around to what it's become.
Yeah.
Like I got to put Reid pretty high up there, and by all accounts, he's just like a great dude, which also helps. Like everything I've heard is Andy Reid is just a great person.
Oh man, it's interesting that you asked that question because
the mustache.
All these people are kind of screwed by the Brady Belichick era, and then you go back to like the Phil Jackson Jordan era, kind of screwed all of those teams as well. Like all those coaches and players, their legacies kind of tarnished during that period of time. Like Barkley
You're right.
was so dominant, but never won one because he was playing in such a dominant era.
Never got a chip, and all the young guns use it every chance they get to knock him, which I love because you know that like
eats
Chuck's
him
a great
alive,
dude. I
dude.
love the inside the NBA team, but like that's one thing that just grates on him is not having that chip. It's amazing. All right, man. Moment of truth. I know that
Still
you made a
gotta go
bold
Eagles.
prediction last week. I want to make
ran
sure you're
all the
still
numbers,
sticking with
and
it.
Depends. I didn't see
Who
is
wins the
Kadarius
game?
Toney going to make it back because that's a big thing for them. Let me see. I mean, even if he makes it back, look,
I have not seen that report.
Mahomes is on that ankle. They don't really. I mean, Pachenko or whatever. You've corrected me every week on his name, but he's a great running back, but he's not a dominant running back. So Mahomes is going to have to pass, and I just think if the Eagles can get ahead, which I do think they're going to get ahead, I just think it forces Mahomes to try to be Superman like he did 2 years ago, and I think he's going to fall short again. And you can script out Kelsey. So if Tony doesn't get back, you can script out Kelsey.
Yeah. The script. Do you think this is a boat race? Do you
feel like if
think
the Eagles
whoever's
get the lead, they're just going
in
to grind
front
it out
first is taking it to the
and
end?
They're very aggressive. They'll go for it on third down all the time. They have that like unstoppable QB sneak from like a yard and a half out. Like, I think the Eagles are favored by 1.5. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles beat them by like 10 plus. Yeah.
So you're taking them on the spread too. I will say that, in terms of post Super Bowl celebration, Philly winning is gonna just bring the content.
Dude, Philly fans are
last time they won. There was a dude who ate literal horse shit off the street. Like, they're gonna climb those grease poles.
Yeah,
it's insane.
I
like the Philly trash gets to celebrate, and that's a win for everybody. In my opinion,
faithful, man, I would love to see them win. Like, did you see Bradley Cooper at that last game? They put him on TV. He looked so trash, dude. He was like having the time of his life.
Oh yeah. It's that's gonna be definitely more fun. I think I can't say I think. I'm gonna go with the Eagles as well. I don't think I'm gonna be as bold to say that they win by 10 plus. But I do think the Eagles find a way to get that victory. I think it's gonna be a closer game than we think. I doubted Mahomes for the AFC Championship. I deeply regretted that. I don't want to doubt him again because the dude is absolute magic and has sold his soul to some entity to be really good at football. But I do think that the Eagles have – I think they pull it out. Player props. This is your bread and butter. Little rough during championship week. We didn't win as much as we'd hoped to on those ones. But I feel like you're on a comeback right now. You've been just absolute on a heater in the NBA.
Oh man,
so we're coming back to the NFL now.
Touchdown prop.
What do you got for the people? Give the people what they want.
I do think this is an AJ Brown game. I think the corners are undersized for the Chiefs. I think the way that you beat the Chiefs is not on the ground, even though you don't beat the Niners on the ground either, and they just totally just destroyed the Niners on the ground last game. I think AJ Brown in the end zone, just too big, too physical. I think that's one. And then I think you also, I don't know what the anytime touchdown is for Hurts, but I think Hurts is on a mission right now, and I think he gets it on his feet. But those are the two, I always have to do anytime touchdown, right? So I always go
gets it on his feet.
Money. I don't know what what the spread is on that Jalen Hurts one, but I like that. And then on the flip side, I bet you that the anytime touchdown for
I'm going to look up Hurts right now.
Mahomes has got to be so high because of his ankle. I think Mahomes loves the limelight, and I could see Mahomes actually getting it in. Like that would be a degenerate play for me. But I so lock that in.
So Hertz is at plus 100. And
with his
Patty
ankle,
Mahomes,
gotta be at least plus
give me a
50.
guess what you think the Mahomes anytime touchdown line is.
Yeah, I think that once
Plus
I brought that up and you
500.
saw that, knowing your style, that
I think I'm flirting with that
vibe right there.
That's big time.
Yeah.
You know, I felt pretty good about. I'm glad you agreed with me on the AJ Brown. I saw that. That was some good plus money, plus 125. I think that's a great one. I am not a player prop specialist. I typically tell you in every possible way. And thank you for putting food on my table for most of this NFL season. I want to do that publicly so everyone knows.
I might.
But
join
I am
you
gonna.
in
I
that
think I'm
little
gonna flirt
party.
with Mahomes at plus 500 because
But
that's
if we
just
want
too
to talk
juicy.
about like where I think there's actual edge, like where I would, if I'm betting, like places I'm looking at, I've been writing. I think if you followed me 2 weeks ago, it was Jerick McKinnon on his rush yards. They just don't run the ball with him, and he's not effective on the ground. The problem is I don't know how many rushes he's going to get, and now they're starting to catch on to that. So instead, I'm pivoting to McKinnon's longest rush under 9.5 yards. Yeah, if you've been watching, like McKinnon just does not.
Ooh, that's a nice one.
Guy. He's more of a pass
I
protector.
like that.
I think he gets somewhere between 5 to 7 carries. The Eagles are actually underrated against the run. A lot of the year they were not good against the run because their best run defenseman was out. He's back. He's just undersized to be an NFL running back who's on the older side. I don't see him getting a 10-yard run. So I think that's a good one. The books, for some reason, have not caught on to the fact that Quez Watkins is
like that.
I was on him and the San Francisco hit that too. He doesn't get the ball thrown to him anymore. He gets like one pass a game now that Dallas Golaber is back.
I was gonna.
So
I don't even know who he is.
About him is that
that's how
he got
few times I've heard his name called in this playoff
or
run.
Golaber, whatever his name is. Dallin Golaber. And then AJ Brown had a hip injury, so he went up in the depth chart. He had 3 or 4 good games. But now that both those guys are back and healthy, he's like running routes like 30 or 40% of the time. So he might get like 3 passes thrown to him. So this line at 1.5 receptions, he's got to catch 66% of his passes, and he's a deep ball specialist. It's not happening. So that is a very tasty line as well. He's caught 1 or fewer passes in 64% of the games that Golaber has been active. Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, that's
it's like -1. It's a little,
there's some value
it's
in that.
juice,
What
for sure.
what's
It's like
the line on it?
-140
Do you know?
something, I think when I saw it,
it's probably.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that line gets up to like -190 unless they move it down to like over under a point or like half a catch. But at 1.5, that's a very tasty line. But my favorite line on the board, and people are going to think I'm crazy for this, is Jalen Hurts over 20.5 completions. And the reason I say that is the Kansas City defense plays a cover 2, soft, everything in front of them defense. They're also going to pack the box to prevent the run. They give up on average for the season 24 completions per game. So that's 24.6 something. So that's almost 5 completions over. If you take away the 2 playoff games, which were both blowouts, even in blowouts, Hurts had 15 and 16 completions. I don't think this is a blowout. I think, like I said, I think it's going to be somewhere in like the 7 to 14 range. And if the script goes the other way, he's definitely going over on this. So I think there's 3 ways to win this, right? But I think he easily is getting 21 completions. I think you have a lot of check down stuff.
Yeah.
I think Gainwell will be involved. I love that play. I think it's a really good play to look at. And then Yep.
You heard it here, folks. That is the Beard's best play on the board. Jalen Hurts over 20.5 completions, minus 130 right now.
And then the
Get in
last
on it.
one, which
Get
is
early.
close to even money.
And I like it. That's
also
bold.
Like
that is a
so
bold
if he's
pick.
throwing the ball a lot, I think he's getting passing touchdowns. They average giving up 1.84 touchdowns per game. They're the highest defense secondary for touchdowns for quarterbacks per game. I also think scripts go up and down. Last week it was all rushing touchdowns. I think he comes out and catches them off guard with a few throwing. So over 1.5 for minus 105. I think that's a great play as well. Not as good as the 20.5 completions, but at even money, there's definitely value there.
There's some good value, I think, across the board. I think it's going to be fun. If you're watching this and you're not part of our Slack at the Fanstitution, join us. That's where you can get all of the picks. Again, if you've been tailing the beard this last weekend, you're eating well. If you happen to follow the stash, I apologize. If you happen to follow the mullet on UFC picks, I don't know what to tell you. That was an ugly, ugly fight. Not at all. Nothing. Not even close. Which is pretty rare. I mean, we're going to get him on for a podcast this week. The mullet mashup. We're going to be talking about UFC. That's on Saturday night. Should be a great gambling weekend, right? We get some UFC on Saturday night. We got the Super Bowl on Sunday. So we're going to get him on, but I'm going to make him make a full apology to anyone who decided to tail him on that Derek Lewis fight. It was ugly. Let's talk some fun props. One of the best parts about the Super Bowl is if you go on the right sites, you can bet on some really random things that I have a tradition of doing. The first is the over-under on the national anthem time.
In the 210 range.
And I've got to look. I don't know the exact over right now, so let's see. National anthem.
Oh, yeah, dude. Stapleton without a guitar? No way. Not possible.
Oh, you think he's going to bring it out?
Oh. Yeah?
So the line I'm seeing right now, the average is a minute 50. Is that right? 110 seconds?
Ooh. Yeah, I might be off that one.
So it's at okay. So the over right now for Stapleton is 2 minutes and 2 seconds. That's a risky bet. Because even if he hits us with a solo, that's still a long anthem. But he's a crooner. He's a slow crooner. I could see him dragging a few of the notes out. I think I'm going the under, though.
Yeah.
I think
I'll tell you on
he's
that.
not a flashy guy. He's not a big attention guy. So I think he's just going to get up and do a very traditional anthem.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going under on that one. And the under is plus 105. So there's plus money on the under, which I like. I like that. Heads or tails at the coin toss? Tails never fails, right? Did you see that thing that Will put out that the winner of the coin toss has lost the last 7 Super Bowls? If you win the coin toss, the last 7 coin toss winners have lost the game.
Okay. That is insane. Those kind of things pop
just
up
live
all
bet
the
it.
time.
Yeah, like whoever wins the coin toss, you live bet on the other team to win the game.
A lot of random crap like
that was an insane stat to me. Yeah, that's that one blew my mind. So I do think I am going to try and play that once they do the toss. Once it hits tails, then whoever wins, I'm going to bet on the other team and just sprinkle some money in there, hedge my bets, so to speak.
No,
you put this one in here, and I love it. How many times will Brady be mentioned during the Super Bowl?
Over 1.5.
You put the over at 1.5. I'm putting the over at like 5.
Especially because the last time Mahomes made it to the Super Bowl was against Brady. Like, they're gonna say Brady's name so many times on this. Like, that is.
Yep. That's free money. That's free money.
Yeah,
If you can
I feel
grab
like
that
I
at
feel like
over
they'll
1.5, like
have to work
that's
his
like
game in so
not
many
even
different
first
times. They might
quarter.
even
Like
call
that's
Brady.
that's
Might
like
be
the
one of those,
opening
like,
kickoff. I'll
call-in
hear it
things
more
where
than
it's like,
that.
hey, we're gonna call Tom and get his take on something.
So they did mention that they were trying to work him into
There's
the
no
Super
way he
Bowl
does the
this
Super Bowl.
week.
I mean,
But
I
it's
can't
completely
imagine
up to
he
him if he wants
does
to,
the
is what I
Super
was
Bowl.
told.
He had such
That
a
dude just
bad
got a blank
season.
check to do whatever the hell
He's
he
kind
wants
of
at
licking
Fox.
his
I can't
wounds
believe
right now.
it.
I
It's
actually don't think
crazy.
he's done. I know he retired. I don't think he's actually done. I think he's doing that so he doesn't have to, like, he's pulling a Gronk where he doesn't have to go to camp the next year. Or
What's the line on that? Tom Brady actually retired.
maybe he didn't get any interest. Maybe that's what happened.
Yeah. I think he's done, man. I really do think he's done. He's 45. He's 45 years old. Who's going to bring on a quarterback that old?
He'd be
Everybody's like,
terrible in
oh,
the
he's going to go to San Francisco.
system, though.
They know what
Like,
it's
that
like
would
to have
be
a broken
really
QB
bad
system.
system
I mean,
from
they
the
lost
beginning.
3 of them,
It
4
would
of
have
them
been good
this
for
year.
him to go.
You don't want to
I
run
think
that risk
Rodgers
again.
is going to end up
So-
in Las Vegas. That would have been a good stop for him. No, dude, Rodgers knows that Devontae makes him better.
You don't think Rodgers goes to the Jets? He's
Yeah.
been talking about it.
No.
It's valid. Shoot, I meant to bring that. Did you watch the Pro Bowl at all yesterday? Nah. There was an interesting, like, Derek Carr kind of redemption arc. We'll have to talk about it another time. So, Rihanna's opening song,
Yep.
Diamonds, plus
Yep.
150. Is that the shine bright
Yep.
like a diamond? Ooh, there's good money because that's a good Super Bowl opening song. You've got the dark.
Yeah, plus money.
You start
Dude,
seeing the shimmers
she
in
hasn't
the
sung a song in,
stands.
like 9 years.
It's
She has to come with
twinkling.
something that
Ooh,
everyone
I'm
knows.
jazzed
So
on
she's
that.
gonna
I'm jazzed on
definitely
that.
open.
Plus
That's
money on
exactly
that
what I was
too?
thinking. It's gonna be dark. There's gonna be shit going off. She's gonna sing "Bright Like a Diamond," get the whole fans jazzed. Like, it has to be the opening song. But Umbrella's not a banger to start with, you know?
So the other piece that I saw was Umbrella, right? But it's not.
Well, look, I think
I disagree. I think Umbrella is a big time banger, but I think Diamonds is a better. That's good. That's good value on the prop
I
bet
think
right there.
that Umbrella is a banger.
And if they
But
don't do
you
that,
can
missed
stand under my
opportunity.
umbrella
Who's
doesn't
directing
have
the
the
Super
same
Bowl halftime
intro
show? I
hit
should be
as Shine
because
Bright
that's a
Like
great
Diamond.
idea.
You know?
That's valid. That's very valid. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I wonder if we'll have a Justin Timberlake wardrobe malfunction with Rihanna.
Because
Seems like there's a high percentage chance of that happening.
I think 100%.
We'll see. We'll see what comes out on that one. Not going to put any money on it.
I don't know. Yeah, and it's just post like new mom. She's not even like she had. How long ago she have her baby? Like, it has to have been less than 6 months ago.
That does factor into the equation. That's a good point. I think.
The Brady.
I was gonna
the
say it's
Brady
within this
name
year. Yeah,
has got to
so
be the super lockup.
it'll be interesting. I'm gonna go put money on Diamonds right now. That's brilliant prop there. Easily over 1.5. That's like I said, they're not going to get through the first 3 minutes of the game before that hits. That is free money. If you can find somewhere to bet it, go bet it right now. So we've kind of given the gambling recap throughout, but just let us in on just the absolute heater of a weekend that you had. What were you doing? I mean, I don't want you to give all your trade secrets away, but let the people know
need to create
what you've been
highlight reel
doing.
for that for people. But I use that system to figure player props in the NBA because the NBA is the most predictable sport to bet player props on. and I am on a 6 in a row pick of the day winner. I got my 7th up today. I forget who I put. Oh, I put De'Aaron Fox over 24.5 points today. So let's see if De'Aaron Fox hits on that. But I mean, Boyd, even yesterday, I broke my thing where I was only doing 1 a day. We did 3, and 2 of the 3 hit. Yeah.
It was great. It was gorgeous. Great way to spend your Sunday is betting on Seton Hall DePaul, a college basketball game I could not have cared less about. But thanks to some real quick thinking by the Beard, I jumped on it about 2 minutes before the start. There was some heavy money on DePaul to cover the spread. They, in fact, did cover the spread. It was great plus money.
D2 or low D1.
Again, thanks for putting food on my table.
Big money coming in. Some guy out there who is studying only that conference, and you just got to wait for that dude to drop massive money on those games and just follow along for the ride.
That's going to be me on the USFL this season, baby. I'm going to be the sharp. You really should do like a video though, because that was really interesting when you pointed it out. Like seeing the sharp money on there, your big whale money was fascinating to watch.
Nice.
Ooh. Well, thank you. That would be phenomenal. We'll see what the future has in store for us. I'm getting really scared about we're about to enter the darkest days of the sports year. NFL football is going to be done. College football's already over. We've got the NBA. We've got the NHL. Baseball's not going. Golf doesn't really get going for me until April with the Masters. It's going to be I don't know what I'm gonna do with my weekends. Like, I'm worried I'm gonna have to become a normal human being and like go do things and not just gamble on my couch all weekend. So I'm crowdsourcing suggestions on what I can do with my free time, what skills you'd like to see me learn to become a regular human being and not the degen piece of shit that I am. So put it in the comments if you want to see me be a better person.
Yeah, I get back Friday.
Thanks.
What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to give picks out?
Are you going to be back in time for the Super Bowl?
My thing is I play them. I play every pick I give out.
Okay, good.
So it's going to be fun.
All right, I was worried.
Feel weird.
I was concerned.
Play some picks out there that I can't play.
If you want to feed them to me, I'll play them for the people. And then you can, I will call them Beard approved. I won't sprinkle my own shit in there.
There's no sun in Pittsburgh right now, so it's going to be wild.
And that way somebody's got skin in the game while you're off enjoying the sunshine. Ooh, it's going to be amazing. I hope you have a wonderful week. I'm really looking forward to the Super Bowl. Looking forward to hitting some of these bets that we're talking about. And looking forward to getting the stash back next week, hopefully.
Thanks all.
But I think that kind of wraps up episode 4. Enjoy the Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. And have a great week.